Cool, so what is up everybody? Today we are talking about Marvel Phase 4. Some huge news dropped at Comic Con and I want to be talking about it. So first things first, Kevin Feige came out and announced that Avengers Endgame was going to pass Avatar at the box office. It has now done that, so that happened, Kevin Feige said on stage, within a matter of days, but that actually happened within a matter of hours, I guess, since his announcement. So that was really cool, and Avengers is now the biggest movie of all time. Avengers Endgame is the biggest movie of all time. It has made the most money at the box office, and it has now got that title. It has surpassed Avatar, which is crazy. During the HallH panel, they showed off the slate, the Phase 4 slate, with all the different properties they will be releasing over this time. The very interesting thing is that this only goes to 2021. There are rumored dates for 2022 that are still included in the Phase 4 lineup. Maybe that will go into Phase 5, it's not really confirmed yet, but there are still rumored films that will be appearing in Phase 4, which they did not announce in HallH last night at Comic Con. So I assume they are saving some reveals for the D23 panel that they'll be doing, which is for Disney. It's kind of like the Disney version of Comic Con to a degree. So I think they are saving some stuff for that. That's my personal opinion. That is not confirmed. And I have no idea if that actually is the case, but that is just my theory that they're saving some stuff for there. So they did not announce the whole of Phase 4 yet. So first things first, Black Widow. If you guys have not yet heard, Black Widow is getting her own solo film, and this is coming out next year on May 1st, 2020. There's been a lot of speculation on what sort of time period or when in the MCU timeline that this movie is taking place, but it has now been confirmed that it is taking place between the events of Civil War and Avengers Infinity War. So before she gets her blonde hair. Very surprised by that. I thought this was going to be a bit of like an origin story for her character, but I was wrong. She is returning to Budapest, so I really hope they pay off some of that connection with her and Hawkeye when they always discuss it in the MCU. They obviously had some mission or something go down in Budapest that they always refer to in the MCU, so I really hope they do pay off some of that, because if they don't, it's a massive missed opportunity. Taskmaster will be the villain, which is really exciting. He's quite an interesting villain, so I'm really excited to see him on screen in the MCU. They haven't announced yet who is playing the Taskmaster in the film yet, but David Harbour, who you all know from Stranger Things, he's cast in the movie as a character called Alexei. In the comic books, Alexei takes on the mantle of the Red Guardian, so it'll be interesting to see if that happens in the movie or if he'll just be a supporting character and a bit of like a normal non-superhero or non-vigilante character in the movie. We'll have to wait and see for that, but it's super exciting. There's also another character in the movie, Black Widow's counterpart, a different version of Black Widow in the comic book, so we'll see how that goes down in the movie as well. Really excited for this movie now. It's definitely not what I was expecting from the things I'm hearing. They also did show a trailer at Comic Con for this film. Obviously the general public has not yet seen it, so I've not yet seen it. And apparently there's some really cool action sequences and combats in that trailer. Stuff that is kind of like the Bourne movies and John Wick. So I'm really excited to see that sort of action displayed in the MCU. Super keen. Now what is also interesting is all the Marvel content on Disney Plus was also on the Phase 4 slate. And the first one on that list is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So The Falcon and the Winter Soldier follows Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes, and this is taking place after Avengers Endgame. Apparently Anthony Mackie has already gone for a fitting for his Captain America suit now, which is really exciting. So he will be taking the mantle of Captain America officially in the series. And the series is going to revolve around Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson. It's really exciting. Baron Zemo is back, and apparently he has his purple mask. They showed, I think, some footage for this in the HallH panel, which is incredibly exciting. So he is finally going to look like how he did in the comic books. And I know a lot of people were a little disappointed with his appearance in Captain America Civil War, where he didn't really look at all like his comic book character. So it looks like this series is going to go full on into that comic book character, which I'm super excited about. And actually I'm really excited for the series now. I was expecting it to kind of take place before Avengers Endgame, but I'm really excited to see it take place afterwards and see the Falcon as Captain America and see the world post Avengers Endgame. It's just also really exciting to me that Kevin Feige is so involved in these series. He's as involved with these series as he is with the movies, so it's not going to be like the case with the Netflix stuff, the Netflix content that they released, or some of the ABC series that they've done, where Kevin Feige wasn't really involved with them at all. He's going to be in the mix from the start with all of these series, and they're going to be really tied and connected to the MCU much more than that other TV content that Marvel has done in the past. So I'm really excited for this, and I'm really excited for the series. Out of all the series that Disney Plus is releasing for Marvel, this is probably the one I'm most excited for. But I will share some thoughts on what's coming up next as well, because I have a lot of thoughts about some of them and I'm really excited. Okay, so next up on the list. Next up we have Eternals. I know a lot of hardcore Marvel fans have known about this for a while now. We know that it's been coming out. They officially announced the cast, so go check that up if you want. I'm not going to spend too much time on this movie, but it has been confirmed that these characters are eternal in the MCU timeline. So it's going to be interesting to try to figure out why they weren't around for certain events and stuff like that. I'm sure this movie will address that, but I'm kind of keen for it. I'm very curious to see what they do with it. It's obviously going to tie in a bit more with like the celestial stuff, which is teased in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I guess with the Avengers movies with Thanos. So I'm very curious to see what they do with this movie. The cast has officially been confirmed, and yeah, I guess I'd say I'm kind of keen for it. I am just really curious to see what they do with this movie, because I have no possible idea what they were going to do with this. And even in the comic books, the Eternal characters kind of felt a bit separated to the other Marvel characters in the comic books. So I'm very curious to see how they do this with regards to the Eternals in the MCU. But that is coming out in 2020 in November, so that's really, really exciting. Then what is coming out in 2021, which is first on the slate for 2021, is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is coming out on the 12th of February, so right at the beginning of the year. I'm very, very curious about this movie as well. It's nice having, I guess, new characters introduced into the MCU. One of the things that fascinates me about this movie is that I have no idea what it's going to be about at all. I have absolutely no idea who this character is. The only character I'm familiar with is the Mandarin, who is coming back for this movie. He's going to be the real Mandarin, not the Ben Kingsley rip-off version of the Mandarin. This is going to be the real Mandarin. And on the HallH panel, there were hints at the Mandarin and the Ten Rings being involved way more than we initially expected. I guess kind of being like this hardware organization that's just kind of been in the background and doing little things here and there. So apparently there was like even the Ten Rings Easter egg in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I completely missed out. I didn't even realize that was a thing. So it's interesting to see that the Ten Rings has been around since Iron Man 1 and up until Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I'm very curious to see what this movie is going to be like, and I feel like it's going to be a very different MCU movie, which will be refreshing, and to see more of how the Ten Rings has been involved with the MCU. They've officially cast Tony Leung as the Mandarin, so there's a new Mandarin in the MCU now. This is the real Mandarin as far as we know, so that's really, really exciting. I'm excited for this movie as well. I think it's going to be a very diverse and different movie for the MCU, which I think is what the MCU needs right now. We don't want it getting stale and we don't want it to feel repetitive, so this is a really cool direction that they're going. I'm excited. Next up on Disney Plus we have WandaVision, which is coming out in the spring of 2021. Apparently this is going to be super trippy, super weird, super strange, so I'm incredibly excited for this. Apparently it's going to show and display more of Scarlet Witch's powers and her magic abilities, so I cannot be more excited for this. I think this is exactly what the Scarlet Witch character needs in the MCU. Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are returning for these characters, which is incredibly exciting. I'm curious to see what they do with the Vision, because obviously he has to return in some way. Is he going to come back from a different timeline or different alternate reality or dimension? I don't know. Or if they are just going to revive him in the normal MCU timeline, I've absolutely no idea. But I'm really, really excited for this. I think it's going to be 6 episodes long, but apparently a lot is going to happen within those 6 episodes. So I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be interesting to see more of these characters. These characters kind of have been supporting characters in the MCU up until this point. So it's going to be really cool seeing them as main characters in their own show. I'm super excited for this. WandaVision, spring 2021. And then one of my absolutely favorite announcements for the Marvel Phase 4 Comic-Con panel was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That title is absolutely perfect, and I am so excited for this movie. This movie is coming out in May of 2021, and it has been confirmed that Scarlet Witch will be joining Doctor Strange in this movie, and it just sounds like it's going to be completely crazy. It is said that Nightmare is going to be the villain, and if you know the Doctor Strange character in the comic books, Nightmare is one of his arch enemies, so it's going to be really cool seeing him on screen as well. And because WandaVision and then Doctor Strange are taking place within the same year at kind of a similar time, so it looks like the series and this movie are going to tie directly into each other. So it's really interesting to see that the Disney Plus content is going to be very directly tied into the cinematic releases for Marvel. So I'm incredibly excited for this. Doctor Strange is going to go full multiverse, so I cannot wait to see the ramifications of that in the MCU as a whole. It is also said to be the first scary MCU movies. So it looks like they're going to take a lot more horror elements into this movie and stuff like that, and Scott Derrickson is confirmed to direct this movie again as well, and he is known for his horror movies, so I'm really excited to see how crazy this Doctor Strange movie gets. Okay, and then also what is taking place in spring 2021 on Disney Plus is the Loki series. This Loki series will again feature Tom Hiddleston portraying Loki, but this follows the Loki from Avengers Endgame who used the Tesseract to escape, and that obviously branched off into another different timeline and different sort of reality, and this is going to follow that Loki. So before he's had all that development as a character, before Thor Dark World, before Avengers Infinity War, all that stuff, this is the Loki before that. So this is, I guess, before he had a bit of a redemption in the MCU, so I'm very curious to see what his character's going to do in this series. He's still going to kind of be the god of mischief, I guess, so I'm really excited for the series. And now, because this is kind of like a branch off reality to the main regular MCU timeline, I'm very curious to see the ramifications that this series has to the main MCU timeline, if it has any, I don't know. But I'm very excited for this TV series. And then in the summer of 2021, there is an animated MCU debut which is called Marvel What If, and Jeffrey Wright is going to be voicing the Watcher, one of the Watchers in the MCU. So a whole bunch of cast from the MCU is coming back to voice their characters in this What If series. Very interested to see how they do this series. It's going to be animated, so I'm very excited to see the animation style on this as well. I don't think it's going to have that many ramifications in the overall Marvel timeline, but it is going to be quite a fun series, I think, and it's great knowing that a whole lot of the original cast members are coming back to voice their characters. I love that, and I'm really interested to see how the show is. I love the Marvel What If stories in the comic books, so it's going to be exciting to see, I think. In fall 2021, we also have the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus. Jeremy Renner will be returning as Hawkeye, and apparently this series is going to introduce a new Hawkeye character, Kate Bishop, who eventually takes on the mantle of Hawkeye. So it's going to apparently be a bit more of the Hawkeye character, sort of mentoring and training up this new character, Kate Bishop, to take on the mantle of Hawkeye. So possibly a bit of a redemption story for Hawkeye. He did go a bit rogue in Avengers Endgame. This is taking place after Avengers Endgame. The logo for this Hawkeye series resembles the logo for the Hawkeye comic book run by Matt Fraction and David Ayer. So it looks like that series is going to be heavily influenced by that comic run, and it is a comic run I've not yet read, but apparently it's one of the best Hawkeye comic runs ever. So I'll definitely be reading that before the Hawkeye series, and I'm extremely excited for this. And I think his character will work in a series context, I guess. So I'm really excited to see the series, and I'm really excited as well for Kate Bishop. I know Kate Bishop does eventually become a really badass character, so I'm really excited to see her inclusion in the official MCU as well. Then we got Thor Love and Thunder that is coming out in November 2021. Taika Waititi is coming back to direct, and Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson are also coming back, and guess who else is coming back? Natalie Portman is reprising her role as Jane Foster and is going to be Thor in this movie. That's insane. I'm extremely interested to see how that goes down, because also the last I heard, Natalie Portman did not want to be in the MCU anymore. So it's going to be really cool. Now I am very curious to see if this movie takes place before or after the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because if you have seen Avengers Endgame, you will know that Thor goes off with the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of that movie. So I'm interested to see how they handle that, and if any of the Guardians of the Galaxy will appear in Thor Love and Thunder. It was hands down the best logo reveal at the MCU panel, so I'm extremely excited for this movie, and it's probably my most anticipated movie out of the whole Phase 4 lineup so far. Just because Taika Waititi coming back and Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. Thor Ragnarok was probably in my top 5 MCU movies currently, so I cannot wait for this movie. And I'm very curious to see Natalie Portman be Thor in this movie as well. It's going to be a very interesting dynamic. She actually came out on stage holding Thor's hammer, so that is really exciting. And then an announcement that completely caught me off guard, Blade. Blade is coming out. It's going to be in Phase 4. No official release dates tied to that movie yet, but Mahershala Ali is going to be playing Blade, and that is just the perfect casting. He has now played 2 characters in the MCU though, which is quite interesting. Cannot wait to see the fans rage about that. He played Cottonmouth and Luke Cage, so yeah, that's going to be quite crazy. I know some people are going to be very triggered by that, but I think it's like the perfect casting. I think it's a little sad to see Wesley Snipes not play Blade again, but I definitely think Mahershala Ali is going to kill it as Blade. I'm very curious to see how Blade ties into the MCU though. It's very sort of different to the style and the tone that the MCU has established in the past. Maybe Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will address some of the more horror elements being introduced into the MCU, like the vampires that played faces. I don't know, but I'm really, really excited for this. Mahershala Ali is going to absolutely kill it. I think I've only seen the first Blade movie, the old one with Wesley Snipes, so definitely need to revisit those movies, but I'm extremely excited for Blade in the MCU. I think it's a very interesting character, a very different character to what we've seen in the current MCU, so I'm very, very excited for that. And then kind of wrapping up before the panel ended officially, Kevin Feige hinted that the X-Men are coming and that the Fantastic Four are coming. He pretty much just flat out announced it, that it was coming. So that's really, really exciting. I think they are saving some of those reveals for D23, so Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, Fantastic Four. I think all of that is going to get a lot more in the D23 panel. I think that is going to get a lot more coverage in the D23 stuff, which will be in August of this year. So stay tuned for that stuff. But right now, guys, comment down below what you are most excited for in Phase 4. Let me know your thoughts. Are you a bit worried for the MCU right now? Are you a bit concerned? Or has this sort of reveal of Phase 4 made you more excited for this? I would love to know your thoughts and let me know what you think. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on all things Marvel, so let me know in the comments down below. What was your favorite reveal? What has got you a little bit concerned? But thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your time. Remember to like this video, it helps the channel out a lot. And then please subscribe and press the bell icon to be notified every single time I post a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.